Students, we are going into the revision of the first chemistry chapter, matter in our surroundings. There are large number of things around us which we see and feel. For example, you can see this book in front of you. The book occupies some space. The space occupied by the book is called its volume. If you pick up the book, you can also feel its weight. So, you conclude that the book has some mass. You cannot see the air around you, yet, if you fill a balloon with air and then weight it carefully, you will find that not only does air occupy space, but it also has mass. Things like a book and air are examples of matter. Other examples of matter are wood, cloth, paper, ice, steel, water, oil, etc. Further, that matter offers resistance is borne out by the fact that you cannot displace an object from one place to another without applying some force. You have to apply force to pick up a stone from the ground. On the contrary, light, heat, sound, electricity, etc. are not matter because they do not have any mass and they do not occupy space. Thus, matter can be defined as follows: anything that occupies space and has mass and offer resistance is called matter. Now, what is a substance? A substance is a kind of matter that cannot be separated into other kinds of matter by any physical process. For example, sugar dissolved in water can be separated from water by simply evaporating the water. Here, sugar is a substance which cannot be broken into its components by any physical process. Similarly, sodium chloride, lime, etc. are all substances. Now, let us see what is the physical nature of matter. Matter is made up of particles. The ancient philosophers held the view that matter is continuous like a block of wood, but this is not true. Actually, matter is made up of discrete particles. This can be easily verified by performing a suitable activity. Let us take a beaker. Fill half of it with water. Mark the level of water in the beaker. Add some sugar to the water and dissolve it with the help of a glass rod. You will see that the sugar has disappeared, but there is no change in the level of water. Can you say where has the sugar gone? This can be explained by assuming that matter is not continuous. Rather, it is made up of particles. Sugar contains a large number of separate particles. These particles, when dissolved in water, occupy the vacant spaces between the particles of water. That is why the water level in the beaker did not rise. Had sugar been continuous, like a block of wood, the water level in the beaker would have risen. Now, dear students, let us explain and discuss the particles of matter having the second property, that is, they are too small to be imagined. This can be explained by performing the following activity. Let us take some crystals of blue vitriol, that is copper sulfate, and dissolve them in 100 ml of water. The solution will go blue. Now, take about 100 ml of the blue solution prepared in step 1. Add it to another 100 ml of fresh water. Take about 10 ml of the solution prepared in step 2. Add it to another 100 ml of fresh water. In this way, repeat the exercise, this experiment 5 to 8 times. You will find that the last solution is still blue, though the intensity of the color has gradually decreased. This indicates that a few crystals of copper sulfate are able to color an enormously large volume of water. This also shows that a small crystal of copper sulfate contains millions of small particles. Now, dear students, let us discuss the third property, of matter. The particles of some matter are in constant motion. Here also, let us perform a activity which will show that the particles of some matter are always moving. Let us put an incense stick like agarbatti in a corner of our classroom. We cannot get its smell from a distance. For that, we have to move closer to it. Now, light the stick with a matchstick. You can now get its smell even if you are sitting at a distance. Why? Because the particles of perfume present in the incense stick freely mixed up with the particles of air and have spread across the room. If the particles were not moving, the smell of the incense stick would never have reached you. Now, let us discuss the fourth property of matter. Particles of matter are attracting each other. The particles of matter are held together by a force acting between them. This force is called intermolecular force of attraction. The strength of the intermolecular force of attraction differ from matter to matter. Here also, let us take an iron nail, a stick of chalk, and a small piece of brick. Strike each of them separately with a hammer. You will observe that the stick of chalk gets broken to pieces easily. The piece of brick breaks, but not so easily. But it is most difficult to break the iron nail. What do these observations say? It is clear that the particles of iron nail are held together by the strongest force, followed by the piece of brick, whereas the particles of chalk have the weakest force of attraction. Dear students, let us discuss the last point of these very properties of matter. The particles of matter have empty space between them. During the dissolution of sugar in water, the particles of sugar occupy the empty space between the particles of water. The empty space is called intermolecular space or intermolecular volume also. Now, then, these are the properties of matter, rather the particles which are present in matter. This much is enough for today. In the next class, we'll continue our discussion. Till then, goodbye.